with a chance to take the lead. Kaepernick, end zone, Crabtree, broken up, picked off. This game is over.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to 12 Minutes of Your Time. I'm Mike Bailey. This is Ryan Bailey, and we're here to review Week 1 loss of the Seattle Seahawks to the Rams at home, unfortunately, 30-13. The score is a little deceiving, but they still allowed 30 points, which is not good at all. All right, as usual, this is 12 minutes. We're going to go ahead and start it now. Let's go. All right. So the first topic we want to talk about is our run D looked good. However, on third downs, we were giving up quite a few. I think you said it was 8.2 average for third down conversions for the Rams.
Yeah. At one point, it was 8.2 average during the game. I mean, that number got a little better got a little smaller because, later on in the game, they were actually able to get, shorter third downs that they were converting. But at that beginning, through that third three quarters, it was like over 8 yards.
And the point we want to kind of make is that they were all passing conversions, which it seemed like our DBs were not in the right spots and were miscommunicating a little.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't getting any sort of pass rush. I don't understand what they were doing on defense whatsoever when it came to that third down. I mean, third down and longs is like, if you remember watching those Ravens back in the day, those 2000 Ravens, all they did was just blitz like crazy on third downs when you had third down and over 7. We didn't do any of that, ever.
Yeah, and it was more reactionary than thinking because you're putting so much pressure on the other team's quarterback. Our pass rush was lacking. The DB seemed to be miscommunicating. But I think we both have faith that Pete will address the pass defense as that's his specialty. But the pass rush, we need that to really step up as a core, as a whole, and not just rely on Nwosu and maybe another player.
Yeah, I mean, we did emphasize that we wanted to stop the run this season, right? And because we were so bad last year. And that's why you go get John Reed. And I mean, it's funny to say, but we brought back Bobby. It's weird to think that he was gone even ever and to say that we had to bring him back. But yeah, those guys come in, they're better at stopping the run, right? That's what they do. Bobby's a little older. He's not going to stop, young tight ends anymore, but he's going to stop that run though, for sure.
Yes, and that's why we need to rely on Brooks more for the pass coverage out of our linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's great having Bobby back. I think the communication and the comfort level is there. Anytime we were going downhill, we looked good. Anytime we were in those third and longs, we were on our heels, and Stafford really took advantage of us.
I mean, we all know Stafford's a good quarterback. That's a given, right? We know he's a good quarterback. And we know he doesn't have the same arm strength that he does. He's not going to hit guys deep down the field. And we're seeing these third downs. They're 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10. And we're just not blitzing. We're just sitting back. One time I saw we had 6 DBs out there, and he just waited for his wide receiver to sit down into the hole, and he just hit him. And it's just 10 yards. Like he could zip 10 yards all day.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I mean, he's going to pick you apart.
One of the first drives they had and one of the conversions they had, he looks off Love. It was a very quick play. It was only like 12 yards or something, a 12-yard slant and or a post, whatever you want to call it. And he just looked off Love just enough. He just looks to the left a little and boom, he hits Nakua.
Yeah, Nakua.
He hit Nakua, and you're right, it wasn't this deep, like, double move route by Nakua. It was just a quick post. He just looked off Love and he just threw it right in that, and it was bang bang play. It wasn't like Love was completely out of position, but Stafford was manipulating him.
Yeah. They didn't ask much from the receivers. They really didn't. There was no crazy route runs. There were no wheels I was seeing. Like, he wasn't doing anything insane. He just wanted them to sit down into a hole. Find a hole, sit down, and I'll find you.
Yeah.
And that's it, because there was no pass rush. And he was getting the ball out quick. It was a phenomenal game plan by them and poor execution on our DBs. And you are right that having Bobby back is great for the communication, but whatever Diggs is doing back there with his communication is trash because they're not communicating well enough. They weren't doing a great job. They were the weak spot out there. They were the problem. and it's supposed to be our strength now, right? And they couldn't. I saw Diggs out of position. Julian Love, I don't know much about him like that. I don't know him that well yet, but he looked good at times. But they picked on Kobe Bryant all day. He was the worst DB on PFF. They picked on Jackson. They picked on Trey Brown. They knew who to pick on. They never targeted Tariq. He had one reception for 5 yards, and it was a phenomenal throw and catch from Stafford and Nakua. And everybody else they just took advantage of, and it was weird to see that we couldn't adjust in the second.
You're right. They did attack the right side of our pass defense, and that makes me think that if Witherspoon can come back, that might give us a little more balance, and then they might have to throw to Woolen a little bit or throw towards Diggs' side, and then that might give Love a little more time to feel comfortable and not feel so pressured. And then we don't have to rely on Mike Jack or Kobe to I guess Kobe's in the slot, so it's either way. But we to rely on them guarding the better receivers, even though that doesn't really make sense in this scenario because the Rams receivers aren't, they're not big names. So
yeah, I think Witherspoon is going to play more slot than we think.
Okay.
I could see that happening. I could see Trey Brown staying over onto the left, onto the right side of the field or left side of the field, left corner. But I feel like there wasn't an issue with them throwing outside the numbers, right, or outside the hash to their wide receivers. It was all in the middle. That's where the issue was. And so you're gonna have issues if that's where teams are gonna, because it's a copycat league. They're just gonna look at it. They're gonna see what the Rams did. They're just gonna throw to that area. And if that's our issue, then putting Witherspoon in that area would be better for us. Or even, I don't think they'll move over Tariq, but maybe moving him there and having Kobe not play is okay with me. And, that's for the pregame. We'll talk about having Jamal and Devin Witherspoon back into here and seeing what that brings to us.
Yes, we are veering off topic a little. We need to come back to the game. All right, moving on. We're a little halfway through already. Let's go to the offense. It was a close game, 17-13 going into the fourth quarter. Our defense did let up the points, but our offense really did not produce. In my opinion, the play calling was a little vanilla, and I wanted to see more aggressive, a more sense of urgency from everyone, including Gino. And Rams D did step up a little bit. What's your opinion on our offense and how things looked?
I thought the first half we were moving the ball just right down the field, easy peasy, right? I thought our run game was awesome. Kenneth Walker didn't have one tackle for loss.
That's huge.
He didn't get tackled behind the line of scrimmage at all, which is phenomenal, right? So I thought our offensive line was pushing them around. They weren't doing much, scheme wise to come at us, but they were definitely, getting pushed on when we were running that football. And man, Bobo can block. The tight ends we know can block. Those guys were winning those matchups. They were beating those guys. And that's how you're getting those extra yards that Kenneth Walker was seeing out there. And he's just a phenomenal runner. And I thought that was great. I thought our run game was phenomenal. And obviously the touchdown pass to DK was beautiful.
That was real nice.
I just
thought that I needed a little more sense of urgency. But that also could be just because it's week one and we're not going to just obviously let everything out of the bag right away.
It was a weird situation. There was 2 plays that I saw that were just a little questionable by Gino. He threw double coverage to Tyler Lockett in the end zone, and he didn't throw a pick, but didn't make the completion either. He threw it out of bounds. Basically, it fell out of bounds. And then a third down play in that third quarter that they threw to DK going up the sideline, and he was so covered. There was just no reason for it. There was no reason to force that throw. I would have liked to have seen us utilize our tight ends more. I know we want to see Jackson Smith out there, right? So do I. I want to see him out there, but we had 2 tackles down in that second half. I would have liked to have seen those tight ends out there. I would have liked to see them move out there. They played phenomenal. The tight ends played really well. And I want to see them out there more.
And I agree. And we need them to, as a core, to really help out, especially with the 2 tackles going down. We're going to be running double. And actually, that's our starting lineup. Was we have co-starting tight ends in Will Disley and Noah Fant. That's how our depth chart looks. It's so we do go heavy tight end. We will need to rely on those big boys.
I would like to, for sure.
Speaking of the tackles, they put Abraham Lucas on IR, so he'll be out 4 weeks. I guess it's more of a day-to-day situation with Charles Cross. We did sign 2 tackles off the practice squad, one from the Raiders, I believe, and one from the Buccaneers. And then we also signed Jason Peters, who might start this week. We'll see how that goes. So everything's up in the air with the tackles. I don't believe we had any other serious injuries. So that's nice moving forward against a really tough Detroit team. We got a few more minutes here. 2 more minutes exactly. So just to recap, our run D looks good, but our pass D definitely needs to be worked on. Way too many third down conversions. On the offense, we're going to have to rely on our tight ends because our 2 tackles are down. But in general, our run looked good and no tackles for loss for Kenneth Walker. And now we're going to move on to our special teams with a minute and a half left. We had a blocked field goal from Jerron Reed, and then DJ Dallas had a couple nice returns. And you were mentioning that you liked the way Dixon was punting.
Yeah, I mean, Jerron Reed getting that field goal block was amazing, and it would have been great to have turned that into points. We didn't even get any points off of that, by the way. We missed the field goal on our end. So Jason Myers missing that field goal was ugly, and you know, you'd like to see him not do that stuff, right? It's very frustrating.
Especially when you said it was under 40 yards.
Yeah, it was under 40 yards, man. Like I don't know what he's doing out there, but you know, stuff like that. He can't. When division games, every point counts. I don't care who it is, right? It doesn't matter if we're playing the Cardinals or anyone, or if it doesn't matter if it's, you know, if it was like the Jaguars versus Tennessee, maybe 2 teams that aren't great yet, but you know, it always matters. Division games is always so tight. Everything's so important in the division game. And so, yeah, here we go. We see it, and he's missing kicks, and he can't do that. He needs to play better during that time. Michael Dixon,
especially against the Rams. Sorry to interrupt you. Especially against the Rams, like we want to beat McVay and the Rams more, maybe with the Niners, but probably more than the Cardinals. You know, you're right. Those division games are super important, and it should have been, the score should have been flipped. We should have won 30-13.
Yeah, I mean, division games are always going to be hard. Like you maybe not going to get such blowouts like they got this time, you know. I mean, obviously, I do think that the score is deceiving, right? 30 points is a lot of points. 13 is not very much, but they got a lot of garbage time points there. You know, Michael Dixon was the number 2 punter in the league this week 1. Like, he was phenomenal. DJ Dallas had a 30-something yard return on kickoff, put us in great position to try to go down and score late in the 4th. Like, you know, they weren't trying to kick it to him. They weren't even trying to get anything on him. And then he had a good punt for 18-yard return. That was phenomenal to see. So, I mean, I felt like the special teams was the best thing about it. They were ranked 3rd after week 1, 3rd best special teams. Our defense and offense were ranked at the very bottom, and our defense is ranked 31st overall.
Completely unacceptable. We need to change that going into week 2. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We went a little over 12 minutes, but that's okay because we love talking about the Seahawks. I'm Mike Bailey. This is Ryan Bailey. This is 12 minutes of your time. Thank you so much. And we'll be moving on to week 2 at Detroit.
All right. Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.